Does time equal value? In terms of art, does the time it takes to produce something, is it indicative of the value of the artwork? Okay, so I collect vintage magazines for the potential to draw, and I've drawn some in the past. I've actually been doing some in this new collection, and for a long time I've had this magazine that I'm obsessed with. It's never really felt like it's pretty strong, and I haven't put it into a collection or anything. So as we were like putting art up in our house, like just stuff that we haven't like put on the walls yet, and now that we have this new printer, we scanned and printed this magazine and framed it and put it on the wall, and it gave me like a really weird feeling because it was, the way it was presented had the white background and it like looked exactly like my drawing. It was like this uncanny valley, and I feel like my artwork already lives in an uncanny valley, so it was like, oh, okay, so you've got the real one, but it's in the style of your drawings, but your drawings are trying to be in the style of a real one. Am I about to lose my job because we could just scan and print and create the same artworks? I feel like I've lost the time narrative. Does time equal value? And my answer to this is yes, in two ways. Yes, there is value in the amount of time it takes to do an artwork, and I think to the viewer, maybe it's like a feeling of, oh, I could never do that, or like, look how much time is put into it. When you see the pyramids, the Great Pyramids of Giza, which my artwork is kind of, I guess, along the lines, but you're like, that took so much time, so that creates value. And yes, in the other way of time of one's career. Picasso could do a squiggle on a piece of paper and it'd be like worth tens of thousands, but that wasn't his first squiggle on a paper. And that was because he had like this long, amazing career. I think it actually takes like the most expertise to create something really simple and perfect. It is a beautiful, fresh, blue sky, non-sickness, which I've just come over, Monday morning. And the thing about having kids is it makes you, I've actually always been like, I love Mondays because I have a really good job. But then having kids, love Mondays. Leave them at childcare, come in, put a little audio book in, get my podcast going. I'm actually not on podcast anymore, I'm on exclusive audiobooks. So, and also, talk about blue skies, I'm on to a new colour range. So I'm on to blues. I'm drawing that Louis Vuitton. And I've been doing browns for a long time, and before that I was doing exclusively greys, so then it really like feels really good to have a new colour. It feels really like, you know what I mean? So I'm actually really excited. Okay, so I feel like I'm feeling really good about the hand. I could still, it's getting pretty good. Okay, see, look at this part here. See how smooth that is? It's like so smooth. That's what I'm after, and after. And this bit's got it. Here, still a little, could be smoother, but we're actually getting to the point of no return now. I don't know if you can see, but like in this area, you can't, I'm kind of done. There's no more pigment that will be added to that. I've done so many layers that it's become like so smooth and the paper won't take any more. But there's still, you can do some more here. There's still white dots here. And now I'm on to, and then I did the really dark blue, which like dark. And now I'm on to this nice color. And it actually really does affect me, the color.
Consider the seasons. No one can stop winter from turning to spring or summer from fading into autumn. If we were to cling desperately to the warmth of summer, dreading the arrival of fall, we would miss the beauty of golden leaves and crisp air. The seasons flow seamlessly because they embrace change, not fight it. Nature understands what we often forget: change is a necessary part of the cycle of life. Resistance, on the other hand, creates tension. It's like standing in a strong wind and leaning against it, exhausting ourselves in a futile attempt to stop the inevitable. The wind isn't the problem, it's our refusal to move with it. When we resist change, we hold ourselves hostage to fear, to the idea that what is familiar is safer or better. But this clinging blinds us to the opportunities and growth that change can bring. What if, instead of resisting, we welcome change? What if we saw it not as an adversary, but as a teacher?
And it does make me wonder, is my time worth its value in an artwork? I'm also going to scan it without really high-tech scanner and print it without really high-tech printer and compare to see if it's actually worth my 85 hours to finish this artwork. I've never scanned anything to draw. I always photograph it on an iPhone with a bad phone. And now the scan is like hyper detail. So can the scanner have more detail than me? Most likely. Can it create sparkle like I try to do? I'm not sure. I feel like this is showing my secrets and I'm actually kind of nervous. Like I feel like maybe this video is a bad idea. But you know what we want to do here? Radical transparency. Okay, this feels fully wrong. I like definitely prefer mine, which is great. This is kind of washy, although I will say, and I've said a ton of times before, I'm not a photographer, but the photographing of the object, which this has come from a photograph, this has come from a scan, which I feel like already means like flatness, and the photograph usually gives depth. So maybe that's one reason, but the other reason, so that's given already like some shadows and highlights, whereas this is flat. But then also that's my hand, which I've also said a ton of times that I always like make things more contrasted, which is something that I have to grapple with. But I think it has made it better. But it's kind of weird. Like, would I buy this just as a print? Oh my God, I don't know, and I feel like I can't even say. I have made it sharper, like it's more blurry, because it's like an old magazine and it's also probably a film photo. So I've made it sharper, which is a bit more like lifelike. And the colors are better, but that could have been corrected. And the white, this is the thing I do need to learn. Like, I knew this was happening. As I was doing the lace, I was like, it's gonna have, like I'm putting a lot of grays in this, a lot of shadow, and it's maybe gonna be too dark, but then how do you define white if there are no shadows, which this has? So I don't know, you can do it. That's where I'll progress as I get further into this practice. So I kind of hate it. But you know what maybe is the test? Maybe we could see if anyone wants to buy the scan, we can see what its value will be. This, I will set a value because I spent so much time on it. And this, if anyone wants to buy it, like, let me know. We'll sell it. It's hand signed too. Hand signed, and it is my concept. It's not my photo. No, it's not my photograph. This one is my photograph, which I feel like is better. This is my scan. My scan, it is, yeah, okay, it's a photograph because it's like my most expensive camera. A different sort of photograph. So we're mixing up I don't know, I honestly feel like kind of sick. Time creates value, whether it's the amount of time something took to complete or the amount of time the person has had in their career to become a master. It's the old 10,000 hours thing. I don't know who it's quoted from, but probably Rumi. Is that Malcolm Gladwell? Okay, so it's Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hours, that it takes 10,000 hours to become an expert. So after those accrued hours, you can make something simple and it's valuable because we know you've done a lifetime of work for that. This brings me to my other idea of time that I've been looking at through this artwork that I've just completed. There's a pre-children and a post-children for how time feels. Time never changes, but our life does, and it feels very different. So this artwork has got, the first layer is a French Vogue cover by the photographer Henrik Purin. And Purin's photos are kind of like what I wish my youth was. Maybe metaphorically it was, but like aesthetically definitely not. And it's these long, sun-drenched, kind of timeless afternoons with hot chicks smoking a bong, and there's like no concept of responsibilities or somewhere to be, or if the sun's gonna set or if it's gonna rise, or if we just woke up or went to sleep. And this is how I represent my life before I had babies. Then the second layer of this artwork is a lace, needlework, crochet fabric that's been like handmade. And I think the way it's knotted and repetitive and tight is my feelings of time post-children. It's also kind of like this pastime of mother's past. So it's like a homemaker's skill. And what's been interesting is there's the concept of these without my drawing it, and then, so it's the concept of time in just the image, and then it's the concept of time with my producing of this artwork, because the flat image was like pretty quick, pretty easy. It's actually like a damn breeze. Just doing like a solid block yellow color is like back to childhood coloring in days. And then drawing the lace work was crazy. Like it took forever. It took me longer than it would have taken to probably make the lace work. And so all these feelings are coming together with just this like ticking clock of like make meaning of this. And it's the first time I feel like with this new collection I'm working on, I feel like I have had the time to understand what like motherhood has meant to me and my artwork. And mostly it's got to do with like time being kind of condensed and heated, and you got to use it whilst you can, and I'm kind of paying for these hours, and then you stop and you're with your children. And it does make me wonder, is my time worth its value in an artwork? Because nothing worth having ever comes easy. So this is why my answer, my hypothesis, I think it's my question, my answer to the question is yes. And actually looking at this magazine on our wall that looked like my drawing but was not, and it was just printed, it lost its lackluster, which I think is a terrible sentence, but it lost its luster. There was no soul.